And welcome back to AM 1410 WRMN in Elgin. It's Wednesday. It's the 21st of September 2011. I'm starting to like that opening music.
Yeah?
To me, that means one of the best shows on the planet is about to start.
Oh, aren't you the sweetest?
No, I'm one of the sweetest. Not the sweetest. That would be Jeff
Me.
Myers.
Oh.
Jeff Myers is
It
up there
took
with
96 episodes before you liked the music, though?
Well,
I was just going to ask him
it's
that.
It's not really my
this
genre.
Is the 97.
It's not my genre.
What is your genre?
Heavy metal all the way.
Do you know what song that I am absolutely in love with right now?
Tell me.
Thunderstruck by AC/DC.
Really?
Oh, my God. Y'all out there want a great workout tune? Thunderstruck by AC/DC.
Is that on your playlist,
right.
Mike?
Of course it's on my playlist.
Oh, God. That when we went to the White Sox game, that famous Friday night
Against
when
the
we were
Royals.
sitting
Yeah.
behind the dugout where I was on half the game.
Eating and phoning.
I was
First inning
not.
anyway. You were eating and phoning in
Eating
the first.
a Polish without the bun at the beginning. No phoning at all.
Well, you took a call right after that Polish because I saw it.
Well,
let the court hear this. I saw it.
but that was Valerie, and I got too late,
That's
so
all
it was
right.
voicemail. And then everybody's texting me, and my phone is like on vibrate, and it's vibrating in my purse.
I rest our case right there.
One call.
Real quick, is
Yes.
there any carbohydrates in sauerkraut?
Oh, my.
Oh, you know what would the carbohydrates would be if they put sugar in with the vinegar, right, Doc? Because there's no carbohydrates in cabbage.
Okay.
Well, vegetables have carbohydrates in them, but
But-
they're slow absorbed carbohydrates. So the answer is yes, there are carbohydrates.
There are
in
carbs,
sauerkraut.
and because I was going to make some Polish sausage with sauerkraut in a broiler, and oh, I love that too. And
As
no
long as you have
bun.
Prilosec, you
No
can have
bun.
that.
I was going to slice them up and eat it with the sauerkraut on a plate. You would have been so happy with me. And then I thought there's probably some carbs, some hidden carbs in that sauerkraut.
But
could
you know
be
what?
much.
It's not the carbs like in white, like would be in the white bun, the white bread,
Okay.
the potatoes, etc.
That's right.
Correct?
Not all carbohydrates are bad for you.
Not all
Interesting.
carbohydrates are created equal. How's that?
That's absolutely correct.
The
By the way,
underline
la-
of this show. That's the secondary name to it.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Laura Dion-Jones Show. You guys want to lose weight fast, get rich quick, look young forever, just like Laura Dion-Jones? Listen to WRMN AM 14 every Wednesday from 3 o'clock until 4 o'clock, and Laura Dion-Jones will tell you how to do just those three things. Laura, how you doing today?
I'm wonderful. I'm in heaven with this weather.
Yeah, it's beautiful, right?
Yeah, I've been doing some daily cardio walking with the pups. And speaking of enjoying something, Elgin Short Film Fest this past Saturday night was just wonderful.
I saw you arrive for the red carpet. You were right there.
And our very own Jeff Myers you were an incredible red carpet master of ceremonies. And he was very nice. He introduced me. And, that was very nice.
It was
People
very
clapped.
nice.
Well, they
You
should.
did.
I got to tell you, those movies are terrific.
Yeah.
And more people should turn out for that film fest because it was outstanding.
You had just about a full house, didn't you? You probably had
Yeah.
1,000 folks. You also had, you realize, they didn't know it until the very end. In some cases, you had a great Elgin tie-in with the third place movie, I forgot all the titles, but third place movie is done by
Gosh, I can't remember.
the cinematographer is a Larkin grad of 2007. The second place movie is an Elgin man. They didn't know his Elgin tie-in until he went up there and accepted the award.
No kidding.
Because as you fill it out, it doesn't always ask you where are you from originally.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an incredible night because those were, as you know, as you said, for the class at home. And you were there as well, camera person. They were class AAA movies. They were
outstanding.
Tremendous movies.
They were outstanding.
With a great Elgin tie and a guy,
Yeah.
and the winners from Palatine, from Coden High School.
Okay.
So it was a great night.
And who was the master of ceremonies? Because he
Mike-
had us in tears. Tell me his name, Mike.
He is Mike Toomey. He's a Glenbard North grad. He grew up in Carroll Stream. He lives in New Lenox, Illinois. He is on the WGN, part of their morning comedy bit. If you go to Mike Toomey, YouTube.
How do you spell it?
Toomey.
E-Y.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Mike Toomey, and he does voices. Like he'll go up there. It's me and TV, so he'll do all the voices for like Hogan's Heroes. Hogan, get over here. He'll do all the voices to the video.
The guy should be on Saturday
He can
Night
do Herman
Live.
Munster. Yeah, he's known to be he's a working comic. He
Had us crying.
Good.
Crying.
He must have done a good early bit because I didn't think he did. I missed the first part because we're still out in the red carpet area.
Oh,
so after that he didn't do as many voices.
Oh my God, he was fabulous.
Yeah,
He
he's
talked
great.
about
No,
he and his brother when they were growing up.
in Carroll Stream, right around the corner.
Oh, it was just outstanding.
So he's great talent.
Well,
He's a
very
talent.
well done to whoever chose him to be the MC because he was just fabulous. And I want to hang out with him for a little while and
You should invite him on the
some
show
tips.
because he's good stuff.
Good idea. And the after party was the bomb, and the stage transformation into a giant salon was like something out of an old movie. Did we not like that, Valerie? And the food was excellent, and it was very well done. And our hats are off to the kids who performed in the little Grease medley. That was
They were.
adorable. And there was a tremendous amount of talent and creativity and energy that was whizzing around the Hemmons Saturday night. And you know what? Gordon and Dorothy Schnelly, if you're listening,
Now, let me
where
amend.
were you
Before
kids?
you lecture,
We looked all over for you this year. I sat next to them last
Before
year.
you lecture, she actually went into the hospital Thursday through Saturday. She's all right.
What's
She's
wrong
all right.
with
I saw
her? No wonder
she,
they
her
went
heart
there.
skipped a beat, and they had to change some of her medicine. She's
Swear?
fine.
Oh,
Thursday through Saturday.
Okay,
she
so
was,
why
so
didn't you tell me
she
that
had an
Saturday
excuse
night?
For huh?
She has doctor's note.
She had his doctor's note.
She's excused.
Yeah, she's all right now, but she did have a reason.
I'll tell you something. Anybody who wasn't there, they should attend next year because it was well worth the money.
And you see what they're doing next year. You'll be able to musical score using the symphony orchestra.
I didn't get that, but you'll have to explain it
they'll
to me
be
at a
able to
later
take a scene
date.
from the movie. If you use music in your movie, which you did in yours, they'll be able to rescore that segment, and it'll be extra fun. Is what I think it is.
I still don't get it, but that's okay.
Well, the charm is it's kind of like one of the great talents of the world, looking at your work and adjusting it. So the Elgin Symphony Orchestra is internationally known. So they'll take a
they
look
will
at
take my music and then
They'll take
put
a
it to
segment if you
Beethoven's
use-
Ninth or something.
Yeah, they'll take a segment of your movie if it includes music and put their own touch on it the way I see it.
Okay,
We
now
have
I
51
get
weeks
it.
to talk about this. I
Okay,
think. Yeah,
okay.
something like that.
You'll run it by me again.
Laura, you'll enjoy it.
You will.
You will enjoy it.
I will.
You're a music lover. You will enjoy
Okay.
it.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Chicago Marathon is 3 short weeks away, so for those of you like me who are using that date as a personal best training target, Mikey over there, running that board, are you right on track with your goal?
Don't look at me.
Okay.
He's got sauerkraut tonight. He's on track with that.
I'm eating good tonight.
Good for you. Switching gears a little, our hats are off to the newest Medal of Honor recipient. I had to bring this up. A Marine named Dakota Meyer. I know you all have heard about this guy. He's a Kentucky farm boy who just last Thursday is the most recent recipient of the Medal of Honor. It is our nation's highest award, and he was given the award by President Obama at the White House. And just a quick rundown, after several requests for help from his ambushed unit were denied, Dakota Meyer took matters into his own hands to try to save his trapped comrades in Afghanistan, and he got the Medal of Honor for his bravery above and beyond the call of duty. And Dakota repeatedly ran the gauntlet of enemy fire in a desperate effort to save his fellow Marines. And what bothers me most about him is the sad look in his eyes. Whenever, you see him getting Obama putting the medal on his neck, and then they asked him, did you think you were going to die? And he said, I didn't think I was going to die. I knew I was going to die. And for some reason, God was with that kid, and he didn't get a scratch on him. But he does not want to be called a hero for all his bravery because he did not bring his brothers back alive. But that sadness in his eyes bothers me because he feels it was his fault, and it wasn't. It was his 2 commanding officers who let him down, and their careers, thankfully, are almost over because of it. And one helicopter pilot said, I have never seen the like, and that about sums it up. So I just wanted to bring that up as a little tribute to Dakota Meyer, and God bless you. And so on that note, it's very sad.
War is hell.
War is hell, but the look in his eyes, because he just, he didn't care for himself, his own, safety.
He feels like he failed.
He does. And hopefully somebody will talk some sense into him. But anyway, on that note, we've got a terrific show lined up for you today. Our special in-studio guest is Dr. Bick Dillon. And he is an emergency room doctor at an area hospital who's also a wellness proponent, so we know we like him already. And the author of a truly unique novel called The Diamond Rule, which more than anything else is a story of transformation and spiritual awakening. And we're also going to touch on, for a few minutes, about his brand new Physicians Total Wellness practice in Schaumburg, and a whole lot more. So without wasting any more time, in the studio with us today are Mike Hunziker, who we know is my favorite guy, pal, sidekick,
Sauerkraut
trustee,
man, we call him.
board man, sauerkraut man.
Don't make that stick, Jeff.
And where do you see the sauerkraut boy? And Jeff Myers, my muy sensational co-host, is over here. And, of course, our very favorite YouTube camera girl, Valerie the Swan. And have you seen yourself on YouTube when you turn that camera around and do that?
It's really cute.
Yeah, you better look it up.
Yeah, take a look.
So stick around, kids. We've got a whole lot of talking lined up for you today. You're listening to the Laura Dion-Jones Show on WRMN 1410 AM. And Meanwhile, back at the WRMN Sauerkraut Ranch, today's show is brought to you by
Dr. Claire Elias, who could always talk to you, of course, at 2001 Larkin Avenue is her location. Over 23 years in business in the world of chiropractic. You can phone her at 847-888-9988. Camera person, pan to your left.
all we have
Right
to do
there.
is mention Dr. Claire's name, and I straighten right up.
Posture
don't
right
I?
there. Dr. Claire is so proud. There is your team photo, your class photo, your class ring, whatever you want to put on it. Perfect posture right there. Simply that. Go to YouTube and take a look at that if you don't already. You can call Dr. Claire at 888-9988 with that 847 area code, and you can have that perfect posture as well.
And be pain free. And we'd like to thank snobhounds.com, a canine clothing company. Think Nike meets Donna Karan, but for canines. And you know Snob Hounds is true environmental protection wear. And it's that time of year again, kids. And you're going to want to keep your pooches warm, dry, and comfy, no matter what the weather. So think Snob Hounds. And we'd also like to thank Casey Tool, an automotive specialty tool company available through your Snap-on mobile tool distributor. And a very special thank you to Casey for making this show and all of our shows possible. Now, it's time for Laura's Motivational Minute with sauerkraut.
Come on.
Who said this is an easy one? You might get this one,
Ooh,
Doc.
doctor will do it. Doctor's our representative today.
Beware what you set your heart upon, for it shall surely be yours.
Ooh, doctor?
You quoted him yesterday when we had a conversation.
No, really? George
He
Hamilton.
did. No.
It's got to be Emerson.
Yes.
Oh,
Ralph
well.
Waldo Emerson. I knew he would get it.
Wow.
Yes.
Who came
Ralph
through
Waldo
town, we
Emerson.
learned a few weeks back.
Oh, yeah?
He traveled through here, didn't he, Ralph Waldo?
Yeah, exactly. He keeps
He
coming through
came-
here all the time.
That's right. No, years ago he took a...
As they say in Memphis, you guys ain't right.
No. He took...
He's right down at the library.
yeah.
Today, he's appearing, or his ashes, or what?
His books are there every
Oh,
day.
yes, you're right.
So
Why
he's-
didn't I think of that? You're too smart for me today.
No,
He's
not
a
at-
doctor.
Nobody's too smart for you, Laura.
Listen. Oh.
Doctor's got a return gig coming.
So listen, kids, small lifestyle changes always make a big difference and add up to significant long-term health and fitness benefits. Just ask me, because I know. I developed a daily walking habit that helped me lose 130 pounds in 2.5 weeks, and it continues to help me maintain my new, slimmer, healthier body into my 8th year. And I'm not that slim. I'm a size 12. But Gina Lollobrigida says, there comes a time in every woman's life where she has to choose between her face and her butt. And I'd be choosing my face. We've talked about that before, but anyway.
Nice to work Gina's name into this conversation again. That's great.
Pardon?
Her agent loves that. Well, Gina Lollobrigida.
Oh,
was
don't we love her? Come on.
delightful. The younger set might think she goes back a little bit, but she has a delightful career starting with the 50s, and she loves animals today. So the rest is history. Don't you think?
Well, walking became a daily routine for me. I've got to segue back here on track.
All right.
I went from 0 to a whopping 2,700 miles a year, and I did it one step at a time. So start small. Start
mall
small.
walking.
You can
Is that
start
what it
mall
is?
walking. Hey,
That's right.
walk anywhere you can. Start small, but think big, and you've got to have a goal in mind. But waking up just 20 to 30 minutes earlier every day gives you time to squeeze in a walk before work. Because at first it only takes a small amount to get going, and then you just might surprise yourself and find that you will always do more than you think you can. So walking away every day for the health of it. And now that we got that out of the way, it's time for our very special guest. Let's please give a warm LDJ welcome to Dr. Bick Dillon, who is an extraordinarily emergency doctor at an area hospital, and he's a big wellness proponent, and he has a brand new book called The Diamond Rule, which is truly unique, and more than anything else, it's a story of transformation and spiritual awakening. So, Dr. Bick, thank you for coming on to the Laura Dion-Jones show today. And you can't hear because you don't have the headphones on, but you can hear. We give you canned applause.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
That's the cue when I say, let's give a warm LDJ welcome to, and then they're clapping and screaming. So,
Thank you so much, Laura.
listen, we're glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself first, like where you're from and what you do.
You know, Laura, I'm from all over. I mean, I've lived in Utah and Alabama as I was growing up, in Skokie,
No.
Glenview, Morton Grove. I've moved around with the military. I was active duty, was in Washington, D.C.,
No
spent some
kidding.
time in California, then Texas. So just about everywhere.
What branch were you in?
I was Army.
Okay, cool. Tell us a little bit about your family.
Well, I'm married. I've got 3 young children. They're teenagers now, so they're not as young
All
as they used to
3
be.
are teens?
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
old are
but,
they? Just quick.
They're 17, 15, and just turned 14.
Wow.
So
You got your hands
yeah,
full.
yeah,
Are
but
they all girls?
They are.
Oh,
yeah.
lucky you.
I am lucky. It's fun. But we just got a puppy, and the puppy's male, so that's.
What did you get?
A golden.
Okay, cool. What'd you name him?
Coda.
Okay. Tell us about your book, The Diamond Rule. And I understand this is your first book.
Hey, it is, Laura. It's The Diamond Rule is a book that I've been thinking about and actually been in the process of writing for over 20 years. This book actually took about 2 years to write in this version, but it's been a work in progress for a while, and it's more than a book about spiritual transformation. It's a book about transformation. And that goes much deeper than the spiritual dimension. And I think when you're talking about Dakota Meyer, it's really an excellent example because the character the story of this character, the main character, really begins with his grandfather, who also was in war and was similarly affected by war. And when I look at Dakota Meyer, I see him on television. Saw the event where President Obama was awarding him the medal. I saw someone who really has come to confront a part of our lives that we usually discount. There's no charades, there's no facades. It's just raw life at in the war setting that he found himself in. And I think that when people come back from tragic or really very trying circumstances, they are confronted with the sense of illusion that they live in and day out. And I don't see him as being someone who has caved under that. I see him as someone who has confronted that, and there is a certain distance that then comes between you and the rest of your life, because you realize that a lot of what you're living is an assumed reality. And so I think different people come to realize that in different ways, and not everybody does. But I know that when I've encountered patients who've gone through life-threatening diseases and survived them, patients who've recovered from heart attacks, patients who've recovered from strokes, patients who have taken back their lives by losing large amounts of weight and realized that they were living in a reality that was not of their deliberate choice, but of a default choice. Mm-hmm. That they come back and that they see that they are really confronted with the option to make deliberate choices throughout their life. And it's a gift in many ways, but at the same time, it takes something away from you.
You could tell it took something away from him.
Yeah.
Not even ever having met him in person, just to look in his eyes when he talks, you could tell it took something away from him. Right. And I think that one thing you talk about, the reality of it and the choices, I don't think a lot of the kids today who are real big gamers, the internet gamers with, all those games, more violent games.
Sure.
I think that they think that that's what it's like in the Middle East, in Afghanistan, and places like that where the war is going on. And I don't really think that they realize that this kid was having his, can I say the A word?
Okay.
Butt shot off. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He was having his butt shot off,
Right.
And just, he said you could, and you'd hear the bullets whizzing by him, whizzing by his face. He said, any second I knew I was going to take one in the face, in the head.
Yeah.
And it's not a game. And too many people think it's a game.
I agree with you, but I think that it applies not just to kids. I think it applies to all of us. It's very easy to take the comfortable piece of life, the part that's easy, sitting behind a video monitor, sitting in front of a video monitor, and pointing a cursor at something and shooting and thinking that you're engaged in actual warfare. But it's just as easy to go through life if you're gifted with money and be sheltered from the difficulties that many people have who don't have that. Just as easy to be born into a neighborhood that doesn't have to, where you're not confronted with violence, and assume that is reality for people who are not so who are not so blessed. Mm-hmm. So there are many ways in which we shelter ourselves from reality. And what was taken from Dakota Meyer was taken from the character, from the grandfather, or the main character of my book.
In the book?
In the book, The Diamond Rule, is the illusion of that reality. And that's not something that's simply taken, but it's also a gift, because it's an opening, it's an opportunity to look at yourself and create a deliberate life. The same way that you created a deliberate life by losing weight, you made a very intentional choice. It was not something you had before that. You had made a default choice. You had made a choice. You had gone into a pattern, and you had gained. You had never start out saying, I'm going to gain all this weight.
No, you don't know what, you can't control it.
Right.
And that's what happens with a lot of obese people.
Right.
It's a slide, and you're trying everything, and until you find the right way for you, you just don't know.
Right. But before that, Laura, there came a point where you decided that you were going to live a deliberate life. You were going to live deliberately with regards to your weight and your diet and your exercise. And something woke you up to that. And so the situations that might wake any one of us up to living a deliberate life, and to saying that we have not lived a deliberate life, are unique. And that's one of the things I think is fascinating. And that, as Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. And so how you confront the situation that you are living an unexamined life, and whether you ever do, is a gift. How you do it is very unique, and I find that process fascinating. That's what the book, The Diamond Rule, is really about.
What sparked the idea for you to write the book, and where did the title come from?
It's a great question. I think that the Diamond Rule is really my summary of it's a 3-word summary of the book. We have to, where the rubber hits the road, you have to, where action is required, requires something that's very easy to remember. And the Diamond Rule is really it. And it's a rule that I don't think has been adequately articulated in our thought as a community over 5,000 years. I think that it's been something that's been deliberately left out of our philosophies, of our thought systems.
Can you tell us what the Diamond Rule is?
It's very simple. The Diamond Rule is never, it has 2 dimensions to it in the book, but it really is never take from anyone something that is not freely offered to you. Mm-hmm. And the other dimension of it is never seek anything from anyone that is not freely offered to you. And it's a corollary to the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule can be expressed in several ways, but the Golden Rule it speaks more to your behavior, how you treat other people. But the Diamond Rule is not different than the Golden Rule, but it does parallel it. So you can see that the Diamond Rule also takes into account issues of time, appropriating other people's time, appropriating resources, not just how you might treat them one-on-one, but how you it does include how you treat them one-on-one, but it includes also other areas of how you interact with people.
That's interesting. So Diamond Rule is almost like Golden Rule, but kind of, sort of.
Well, you can play it out for yourself, Laura. You can when you start to apply it, you can see how it's different, how it's similar. Never take from another that which is not freely offered. There are areas within our lives. It has to be a rule that applies, that you can apply. There are areas in our lives where the stock market, or in football or basketball, when you're in sporting activity, where you're given the opportunity to take something from somebody else, take the ball,
yeah,
take the
his
points,
helmet,
right. We still have rules,
yeah,
but there are arenas within our lives that we allow for competition. But when we are competing with people, and they are not even aware that they're being competed against, and we're appropriating, we're using our intellect, we're using our physical capacity, we're using our privilege to deprive them of something that they may or may not even know they're being deprived of. And how fair a society we live in is determined by that in many ways.
We have a very competitive society. Everybody's competitive. Little girls are competitive. My pink bows are bigger than your pink bows. I have more sparkles on my shoes than you have sparkles on your shoes, correct?
Yeah, true.
We compete with everything. Grades. Johnny got all straight A's. How come you got 1 B?
Yeah.
Everything is a competition.
And there's a role for competition, but the problem with competition, if we see everything as a competition, then what we do is we eliminate the creative space in our lives, because the impulse to creativity and the impulse to competition are run contrary to each other in many ways. So when you exist within the creative space, you are including people. You are drawing something out of yourself, and you are not competing for a piece of the pie. You're enlarging the pie. And when you are existing in the competitive space, you're basically putting limits on yourself. It's a mentality of scarcity.
You know something? When I always, as a plus-size clothing designer, as a plus-size model, back in the day when I was very young as a hairdresser, I competed with myself. I never cared what so-and-so was doing, or so-and-so was doing, or so-and-so, and so-and-so's doing that. I didn't want to hear about it because I always competed with myself. I never concerned myself with competition from anybody else because whatever they were doing wasn't going to pay my bills.
Right.
Tell us something. What's your favorite part of the book? If somebody were going to pick this up and want to just read a couple of,
Sure. Well,
chapters, what's your very favorite part of the book?
Yeah. Well, the Diamond Rule, and the Diamond Rule is available on Amazon. It's also available on our website, thediamondrule.com. And so and thediamondrule.com, that website has a lot of other resources there. You can take a look at. There are non-verbal parts of the text or the message that are there. There's video, there's lectures.
On your website?
On the website.
Yeah,
right.
and I know, and you have some terrific music,
Yeah.
like meditational, rainforest, and things like that.
Yeah, music is a big piece of the Diamond Rule because there are pieces of communication that we have historically conveyed with music that we tend to discount when we're talking about thought. And so the website does include that. So I welcome people to visit thediamondrule.com to take a look before they, and familiarize themselves. And if they are interested, the book is available for purchase there. But your question, I believe, was what is my favorite part of the book?
Yes.
I have to tell you, Laura, my favorite parts are really the occasions where the characters make transitions.
Mm-hmm. Is this book, if we read this book, is this going to help us live by the Diamond Rule? Is this going to help us make our own transitions? Because I know in this day and age with the economy and everything, everybody's in a transitional state. Right. Don't you think?
That's wonderful. I agree with you. And
we're all in personal, financial, professional. Is this going to shed some light and help us make our own transitions?
Yeah, I think so. And to be honest with you, we are designed to be in transitional states our entire life. That's what we're here for. Not to be stuck in one place. It becomes very ungratifying. We are designed as people, as individuals, as human beings to expand within the space that we occupy, to grow beyond it, and to move on to the next stage. That's what there's a natural flow that we are designed for, and when we do that, that's when you're joyful. Whether it's in a very small environment, you could be in college and enjoy your little area of the world. That could be the most enjoyable part of your life. You could have been in high school and you were growing in that experience. Mm-hmm. And when you stop growing, when you find yourself stuck in a position, is not something that is necessarily healthy for you, and something you're designed to expand. Mm. And so this book is very much that. This book really outlines a process by which you can deliberately decide who you are, and it outlines a process in which you can deliberately expand in the direction that is healthiest for you, the direction of your choosing. And so that's my hope for the book, is to outline that process
and help people with their own transitions.
Absolutely.
Hold those thoughts, class.